Unfortunately, man, they got a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries to the defensive backs room that is probably going to impact them heavily. We saw this offseason that the Cardinals went out and bumped up their defense, actually put some money toward their defense, which is pretty nice for the first time. Felt like Michael Big will let Monty off for use the money that they had and really go out and get some players. For defense purposes, though, we always been talking about the offense, but they beefed up the defense. Apparently, they trust the offense. Preseason is looking like, unfortunately, the excitement in the air is mild. Okay. It doesn't seem like it has that high intense buzz that it should have, but it's mild. And I think the injuries kind of have done that a little bit, because you expected the secondary to be strong and the defense to be strong in the secondary, but since we've had a couple of injuries in certain areas, it feels like it's mild in the valley.
Well, I mean, I had the fortune of going to training camp last Sunday and seeing some of the guys out there. And as Frank Sanders indicated, they had some major injuries in the secondary. But when you look at the draft, they draft all defensive players, and then they had the one offensive player. Will Johnson, hopefully he come in and do a good job. I think Robinson is going to, I heard he's having a pretty good camp because they beefed up the defensive line. They got Josh Sweat from Philly. When you look at the statistics from last year, the offense was actually struggling, and then the defense is also struggling, especially when it came down to third downs. We couldn't stop anybody on third downs, and hopefully we get some guys in there that can stop the run and rush the passes, because that's the X's and O's of football, always. And we get the DBs to go up there and get some PDs and also some interceptions, get some turnovers, and play the short side of the field. They're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, I know one of their biggest issues last year. Remember, they couldn't get on the field on third down.
And yeah, that was huge. They were actually, if I'm not mistaken, because I read the stats, and third down they were like number 20 something in the league. On the run, believe it or not, it was actually probably around mid like 14 to 15 on stopping the run. But it always, we didn't get enough sacks. I think we ended up with 41 last year, which is, down probably midway quarter of the rest of the team. Yeah, towards the end. So we got to get some more pressure. That's why they got Josh Sweat.
The two game in today's football is not good. No. And if there's Kyler Murray, we already know, what is it, 7 year?
Yeah.
So he has to come up there and show something and build by something. I think this is his year to make a difference. And if he doesn't, I think it's going to be something of got to be a trade, because his contract is still going to be in effect.
Do y'all give him a pass last year since he was coming off his injury?
You never get past the NFL, so that ain't happening.
No.
But what I think can happen for him is if the offensive line can just come together and play well enough to help the running backs, because they have Connor and they got Benson. And if you're looking at Connor, who had like a little over 1,000 yards last year, very solid back, right? If they can establish a consistent running game and feel like they can and make teams not think pass all the time, then Kyler could have a good season. But they have to have that running game.
Did he say offensive line, Jim?
Yeah, he did say something. I mean, he offensive line. He got no choice.
Offensive line, we talk about offensive line, but the line has to come together. And you're talking about 5 guys. You can't win anything with 5 guys that have to come together, and that's been their one issue.
Well, I mean, when you got a scrambling quarterback, it makes it tough. You know that as an offensive lineman, it's tough because you just don't actually gonna know where he's going to end up. You know what I mean? 5 steps.
That would be okay if you didn't know you had a scrambling quarterback.
But you know.
So you do. So then that means you need to adjust on the fly and make sure you have an idea that this is what you have. It's a 1,001, 1,002, and maybe 1.5 to hold just for a little longer. You never know. That's just if you know you gotta. It makes no sense. You know you got a scrambling quarterback. That is an option on the play. You cannot have something called an RPO and treat it like it's just turn around and hand the ball off. That's not the case.
Right.
He's an RPO quarterback that has the ability to do everything, and so you gotta. The mindset has to be that with the Cardinals, and like the reality is that this is a year for everybody. third year for the coach Gannon, third year for the offense coordinator, defense coordinator, as well as the general manager. And if Mike done a bunch of stuff in the off seasons for us, not just on the field but off the field with the staff and what they've done. But the reality is that it's time for ownership. It's time for the players to take ownership of their position. Kyler to be better than he was last year. It requires Marvin Harrison coming back. He made some decisions in the offseason, got bigger, supposed to be a little stronger. Maybe that'll help him. But the reality, then Michael Wilson, I'm talking about receiver-wise, he needs to step up. I mean, you got your tight end, almost catch your tight end having 1,000-yard receiving, 1,000 yards, and your receivers are not even in the map when it comes to the top two receivers as a duo in all of football. That's sad. You need that's not how it's supposed to be.
But Frank,
they need to make you need to take ownership, bro, and step up and do your job. That's what it's about.
But Frank, you gotta understand a lot of what you've been seeing, the Kelce's, the Kittle, all those guys, the tight ends have been the difference makers.
They've been
because
featured.
they
were featured. This offense, if you look, they had to throw the ball to him because there was nobody else open. That's a whole different. So you're talking about teams who've established the tight end as part of their offense. The Cardinals were not that team that did that.
No, they not in the past, not until this past year.
And that's the sad part. So they got players, they got youth on offense, they got experience on defense, and hopefully this will be the year they can come together. Now again, the league has gotten better, the NFC West has gotten better, and it's up to them. Like I said, it's up to them to take ownership of what it means to be an NFL player and to play 4 quarters of football and to come out with a victory. And there's no exceptions to that. The Cardinals were close last year. You look at Kyler, the last 5 weeks of the season, the losses really fall back on him and those interceptions he threw in the last third and fourth quarter of the game. Again, those are just momentum situations. Could they have possibly still won? Yeah, but you change the narrative, and that becomes the case. But if you watch this team, hopefully they take ownership, man. Like, you have to have some grunt about you as Marvin Harrison. I'm the number 1 overall receiver. I got to go out and make plays, man. Michael Wilson, you was here before Marvis, and there's no reason why he should be taking your position. You should be that dude, and if you ain't gonna be that dude, then the tight ain't gonna be that dude. And the realest dude in the room is Gregory Dortch.
So check this out. We're gonna keep it real over here on the Stats Sidelines. This is what I want to know. Did they do enough in the offseason to get better? Can they beat the Rams? Can they beat Seattle?
They can beat Seattle.
They could be, I was gonna say they could beat
Seattle got no.
But so when you look at the Rams upgraded.
The worst lines.
Yeah, the Rams upgraded. The Rams were playing for the NFC Championship. The Rams were close.
Then they added a guy like Devontae Adams.
They added Devontae Adams. So they were close when you look at the Rams.
And they had a young defense.
And their defense is fire.
Young, too.
And
so,
last
but
but
the
not
question
least,
was,
can they beat San Fran?
And the question is, I think they can. The idea is that
they do play San Francisco well.
Look, you got to treat it like it is, man. San Fran got a quarterback they just paid who's proven to be a player. So they not a short chance.
Softball year last year, though.
I mean,
but everybody around them was hurt.
Receivers was practicing. Debo was on his own. Ayuk got hurt after he got paid. So you're looking at injuries. And Christian was like done. So I'm not gonna put it on your boy because your boy was exactly what was the first time he came in.
Right.
He had a great team. He just went out and managed it well. Now you ain't got your players. You ain't no winner.
So they got a $200 million game manager.
Well, that's okay.
You
still
need
get
guys around him.
They had to pay him.
Hey, W's matter. W's matter. We don't worry about all those. You don't have to have a Lamar Jackson. You don't have to have your boy over in Buffalo. You don't have to have those guys if you got a great coach. Which they do.
You got a lot of
who knows how to go out and make
players.
plays. I'm just saying, you could do that. The Cardinals in themselves, man, again, when you look at the narrative that is played out, man, with the ownership changing and bringing in new coaches, I believe in JG. I think he's a great coach. I really do. I think he coaches 4 quarters of football. But the guys got to go out and make plays and go out and make players. The last 2 years the Cardinals have had, if you look at them for reality, go look at their roster online, and you look at every other player you look at their players and look at the roster. They come from different teams, and it's not like they drafted and built this team and brought them together. No. This guy is picking them and bringing them, and they're like, we're gonna put you here, and make you play. But when it comes when you look at other organizations, they've done it differently. Yeah. They've had some stability. They've had stability at quarterback. Either they had stability at defensive line or offensive line or linebackers or something like that. And so, can they go out and win? Can they go out and Can they go out and win the division? Yes, but they got to be willing to, man. You got to look. Everyone says, I'm glad we're playing the Cardinals this week. And the sad part about that is because they know something's going to happen either in the third or fourth quarter. They have to go out and prove they're gonna play 4 quarters of football and whoop ass.
So wait,
That's
you
all.
just said can they win the division? Yeah, you really think they can win the
I
division?
do, but they gotta go out and you gotta go take it. You gotta go take it though.
I mean, everybody got a chance, but I don't know.
Everybody ain't got a chance.
Well, listen,
Everybody ain't got a chance.
I'm gonna go ahead and cry bullshit.
Everybody ain't got a chance.
When you walk into training camp, everyone has a
No,
chance.
I'm gonna say the Cardinals.
I know many times when I came to camp, defense is gonna ball out. We had to pull our weight, and we didn't pull our weight. If some 2-3 people didn't pull their weight, good luck.
But
defense.
Frank, wait a minute. They ain't got close to the defense now that y'all had back then.
They got a good defense. I'm telling you. But
I like the head coach. I like
it requires, bro.
Yeah,
You
I like
gotta. Not everybody goes to camp. Some people go to camp crossing their fingers.
for sure.
I don't know if this quarterback gonna be good or not. I don't know if our starting left tackle gonna be worth anything. I don't know if my right guard gonna be worth anything. I don't know if these 2 DBs we got now gonna be worth anything. For 17 weeks, bro. Not 2 weeks. 17.
And stay healthy.
17. This is what it's about. 17. Give me 15. Take a week off. I don't care. But give me 17. And that's hard to pull out of a quarterback. So we can name 5 quarterbacks in the room. All of us can point out 5 we can trust for 17 weeks, and they don't need anybody else.
Yeah, we got.
You can name 5.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they need the lineman, line short.
They need everybody.
They need the coach to be on the right mindset. We can go dominate this team. They need everybody to be healthy. They don't need to be in Miami on South Beach. They can't be in shit. They can't be in San Diego out here chilling.
Ain't nothing wrong with
on the
South
coast.
Beach, but
there's a lot wrong with South Beach if you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Off season. I'm talking off season.
That's the difference of the game when you those are sideline moments. Because what happens? There's 2 sidelines in the NFL.
True.
That's that green stuff, and there's that outside stuff. And that outside stuff, come on, that green stuff, they mean the same 2 people that showed up. And that's the difference, bro. Sometimes the league is just funny like that. And it's okay. Because everybody still get their check on Monday.
Yep.
It's okay.
Well, I'm gonna
and
say
you
like
just ain't
this.
that dude, because that dude, when you playing you, I'm going to have to work that day. I might go see the next homie. I can scope that day. I can eat that day.
Right.
Sometimes sometimes you have those moments. But the league is funny like that.
3rd place in the division.
It's just funny. You said 3rd place.
Third place in the division.
Behind
Who?
San Fran and the Rams.
No.
So Seattle
Cardinals
be
finished-
last.
I say Seattle finished last.
I say
Cardinals
Cardinals are
finished
number. They can squeeze and get number 1, but I think they go number 2, behind the Rams.
Over the. They not beating San Fran.
San Fran's 1 quarterback away from you not even knowing him.
Right.
Hold on.
And he just had his shoulder jacked up. He been hurt a couple times.
You can say
Hold on,
they got the
they
same
got-
thing about
But they got a hell of a coach.
every team in that division.
they got a hell of a
is
coach.
1
Don't mean
quarterback
that.
away.
Cheezo,
You know how you start
McCaffrey is injury
quarterback is
prone.
everything.
Right.
He's injury prone.
You know what?
And I mean,
I mean, the whole 49ers is injured.
There's
Yeah,
no
he's a great
backup
running back.
quarterback in the league that can run your team. There's no backup quarterback that's on any team in the league that can run your team for 17 weeks. But 10, there's none. And they make it, you know what they make it? They can't pay you 60 and pay me 5, and I go out and I go take us down for 7. They're not gonna do that.
Right.
Your $5 million shows what you worth.
But what's today's date? What's today's date?
That's 3rd.
The 3rd?
I'm
I'm going to say on the 3rd,
I'm
Cardinals finished 3rd.
This
Are you trying to run?
No.
I mean, you trying to put it together like that.
Yeah, I mean, he figured something out.
Sometimes.
He was ready.
He
So
figured something
here's
out.
my thing. Sometimes on the outside looking in, because you guys been in the organization, you guys play for them. As a guy who's lived in Arizona now for a while, sometimes it seems like, do the Cardinals actually want to be great? Do they actually want to chase championships? Do they? I feel like sometimes they put these mediocre teams together, and I'm not talking about now. I'm just talking about in general.
Okay.
And maybe y'all can give us an insight, because y'all been in the facilities. Y'all met the owners, and you know what I mean. You were part of what it was. But do you sometimes feel like the Cardinals don't strive to be great? I feel like sometimes they want to be just okay, just to keep the fans hooked.
When you say strive to be great, does that mean I have to go on the outside and pick and plod and pull out and spend my cash cow to bring every superstar that potentially could come to my team? Because we seen Washington do that, and they still took L's.
Yeah, okay.
So we saw Washington back in the days in our timeline. Yeah. We saw Washington go get like
Everybody.
10 Pro Bowlers, and they were trash.
But I also see
Yeah,
the Rams
but
did
I
when they
heard-
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Rams did what?
They did exactly
Split
that.
the
They won the
bag.
Super Bowl.
But remember they already had a foundation.
They had a nucleus.
And that's the point.
They already had.
So you think about the teams
what I'm
that they
saying
can have
is-
a nucleus.
But that year they went all in.
But listen, what I'm
shit.
And they caught
what I'm saying is,
But I've never seen the Cardinals do that.
Hold on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen the Cardinals do that.
Hold on. They got the right quarterback at the right
play Super
time.
Bowl.
Yes.
In a lifetime.
Yes.
And they not won an NFC championship.
Yes.
Yes.
So then what we talking about?
How long
Plus you
was
had.
that was 1 year though.
That's
That's
the league. Welcome to the league.
But here's let me finish my question.
Go ahead.
It ain't consistent.
Let me finish my question. As a fan, it doesn't seem like the Cardinals on a year-to-year base is trying to chase that ball. On top of that, I've met multiple players who feel like if the Cardinals draft you, you don't know how other franchises treat their players. But if you come from somewhere else and you go to the Cardinals, a lot of the guys say they're not up to par. There was a report that came out 2 years ago that said the Cardinals had the worst facility, the worst weight room, and they weren't even feeding their players.
Right.
So as a fan looking outside, if I'm reading this, seeing this, how can I tell Jerome, bro, I want you to put your whole body on the line, right? On a consistent basis. Yeah, I pay you just like all 30 other teams pay, but I want you to go 100% for me, but I ain't want 100% for you.
Well, it's on Jerome to make that decision if he's going to go 100 or not. But the paycheck is what
Paycheck.
But here's the difference.
You got to feed your family.
But you still want to be appreciated.
But watch it. Appreciation.
And when we talk about it, even as former players, we still want to feel like, quote unquote, that we belong. At the end of the day, it's only according to the statistics, there's only 28,000 plus that played this game at this present time. And you're looking at, when you talk about the years that you can be vested, you're looking at that number going down to what, 12,000 at the end of the day. So when those guys are playing, like we said, okay, I played for Arizona when the locker room was this and that, and I played for Cincinnati when the locker room was this and that, and it was atmosphere because you at the end of the day, yeah, you're right. We had to line up and play, but it don't matter. The paycheck, like Jerome was indicating, paycheck was your paycheck, and you got to make something out of yourself at the end of the day. And yeah, you can't control. I can't control Frank. He's a receiver.
But
I can't control Jerome. He's an offensive lineman.
Does that matter with free agents that that may have a thought of coming to the Cardinals, but then they hear?
Well, let's go with Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat just won the Super Bowl.
Right.
And that's a fat ass ring. If everybody's seen that ring is something different at that point. Yeah, that's
They
a
got
fat
wings
ring.
on there, right?
Yeah, they got like two.
Yeah, wings and everything else. You push
Yeah,
the button, wings.
You got
wings
Lambo on
Yeah.
there.
Got them Lambos on it.
So now he's coming there, and we still took a bad grade when we look at that. The same thing. We still took a bad grade, but he still came. Of course, he came for that paycheck.
That paycheck nice.
You know what I mean? That paycheck was nice, and it's guaranteed
When
money.
you get
the
that
whole
money, you don't
9
care
yards.
about what they feeding you.
Right.
You can feed yourself.
You can feed yourself.
You can feed yourself.
But that's one or two guys on the roster. What about the other 50? It's 53 of y'all, 3-4 guys getting paid well.
So back in our time, that made a difference because like and I go with Frank. Frank, no, I'm telling you. So Frank was probably one of the highest paid during the team at that time. You know what I mean? So they'll look at Frank a little differently, right? Because you're right, because the tiers will go down, 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 and then you do have those guys that are, fishing for nickels at the end of the day. Unfortunately, you can say that in the NFL, but again, they still got to line up and play ball. I don't care if you just came off the practice squad and you get a chance to come up, and your practice squad money back then. It was 100 and something, Frank? About 167? I think it was 167,000.
That's for the year.
Less than that.
That's for the year.
That's just your
signing.
Oh no, you're right.
That's the minimum. That's
It was
the
only
minimum.
1,500 a week.
That was the minimum.
It was. I think it was 1,500 a week. You're right.
Something like that.
The 160. That was a minimum for.
For a
Practice
practice
squad.
squad.
Yeah, the numbers have changed.
So they only practice. They practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they was done for
They
the
was
weekend.
done.
Oh, they
You
had to
make
come on
160.
Saturday. We did walk through on Saturday. Have to come to walk
That's a
through.
hell of a job.
That was it.
Welcome to the league. Hello,
Yeah.
baby.
That's a hell of a
I
job.
ain't just wait for somebody to roll
Well, they
in.
did every.
You won't play away.
And once
They
he
did
rolls his
everything
ankle,
except go
they got to
to the game.
re-sign him and give him a
Contract.
new contract. Got to change the contract. If you're in a practice squad, that's one thing. That's one salary. But then when you if you get
Once you
boosted,
active,
if you get boosted to active,
You get your salary.
They get your whole new check. You gotta cut you differently. Totally different. So that's just the league.
still though, I'm just saying. Once
Watch this here. I'm just run back to your question real quick. There are some teams, and the league does this well. They promote dynasties, and typically teams that get promoted dynasty live in big cities, have big markets, or have a big fan base, and so they want to consistently have the monies to go out and continually bring in certain players and athletes. Some teams are waiting for that window and that moment, and like the Cardinals have had windows and moments where they've gone out and gotten players, and those players have actually been a staple for. And when the Cardinals have been really good, they've had really good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like they've been really good when they've had really good, consistent quarterback
Like
play,
Kurt Warner.
and you knew
Kurt Warner,
they were going
Carson
to be here,
Palmer.
but you knew that, and so therefore that form of leadership creates a different vibe or element, and it changes the narrative of how you coach. And so, but there are some teams, man, when you look at it, big markets sometimes went out, and then you look at teams that really, because they really go out and pay their money and get their players. Not only that, it's how they treat their players. And sometimes those things we talked about become such a factor that I don't expect any team in Arizona to be a dynasty. I don't.
No.
I don't expect that any team in Arizona to be any professional team in Arizona to be a dynasty, because I just don't think it caters to that. Number one, you have a fan base that's a spectrum is crazy. It's all over the board because you have so many transits that live here.
Yeah.
And then that mindset becomes different where I don't have to just drop 100. I gotta keep paying this salary cap at the top, at the highest level, because fan bases change, and so that becomes a situation.
I would say about
so this year I think it might
the
be
next 10, 20 years, the Cardinals will have rooted fans. I think what you said is true.
It takes time.
It takes time.
It takes a lot of time.
10, 15 years ago, I would say half of Arizona was either Cowboys or
Raiders.
Raiders.
And they fill the stadium. You go to a game now, and you should never go to your home game and the whole stadium is filled with the other team.
Yeah.
And that's what happens here, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know how many times we as starters running out the tunnel and we got booed at ASU at home.
That's nuts.
Coming out the tunnel. That's boo.
Well, I mean,
Because they are here for this other team.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It was wild to come from a different team to come here and see that difference. It was just a weird thing. Like, we at home? What's going on?
when Dallas came to town, that was rough.
It was
It was like that. It was like that last year. Last year.
When we went to
Rams,
98,
San Fran,
98 when we went
Minnesota.
to play, we played
Chicago.
Hey, talking about 98. Go to the playoffs. Go to Cowboys. We got on the plane. It was crickets outside.
No way.
When we got off that plane,
It was loaded.
I don't know where everyone got them new Cardinal shirts and hats from, but
When you landed, you could see a whole entire.
they had
see the
new
Red
banners.
Sea.
They were unfolding the new banners and
Yeah.
stuff.
It was
It was
beautiful.
wild,
It was
man.
beautiful.
It was just a wild thing to see.
So since y'all talking about the Cowboys, we're gonna transition a little bit, and we're gonna talk a little bit about America's team and some of the issues going on with them right now. Foremost, Michael Parsons.
They got one issue.
Well,
Cowboys have
I'm
one
gonna tell you,
issue.
Jerry Jones he already played that. He already played CeeDee Lamb, and he looked like, God, dog, I gotta pay this man. a
Yes,
lot
but
of
you already knew that was
goddamn
coming,
money.
though, right?
Yeah,
You knew that was
he
coming.
He knew it was coming.
That's why you let a lot
Why
of
is
guys
he
go.
always the last one in the room to notice
And
something?
the
Well,
money's there.
what's wrong?
He has
Jerry
to-
Jones need to go and give it to his kids or something.
Well, we know that ain't gonna happen.
They need to sell the
It
franchise.
ain't gonna happen.
No, he ain't selling.
I know.
It
ain't gonna happen.
It's
He
the
been there
most
for to sell that.
expensive franchise, including soccer, any sports.
Yeah, they're number one.
But look,
$8 billion.
but now we got Micah requested a trade.